Magic the Gathering just dropped all 4 deck lists for the new Final Fantasy Precons. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Titus Precon, also known as Counter Blitz. I'll be ranking the Precon on a few things. How are the new cards? How are the reprints? Is the deck strong enough out of the box? Then I'll be ranking it on the value. Are you getting the value in the cards? Are you better off buying singles? Are you better off proxying? And finally, does the deck need upgrades? Now make sure to stick to the end because I've got a gift for you. And trust me, it's worth it. And last thing, please subscribe. I'm going to release a video like this for every deck, so trust me, you'll want to stick around. Titus is the better commander of the two, but Yuna is a good alternate pick here. Titus moves counters and proliferates, while Yuna turns all counters into 1/1s, if a creature leaves the field. Titus wants you to build up an army of really strong keyword soup creatures, while Yuna is a little more focused on commander damage wins. For all purposes, I'm going to be looking at Titus as the commander. Looking right off the bat, I want to take a look at some of the insane new cards for this deck. Oron, Venerated Guardian, allows you to exile creatures that a target opponent controls if they have less power than this card. Personally, I would be trying to get this off my opponent's board as fast as possible. Chocobo Knights doubles your damage with double strike if creatures have counters. Since Titus can easily move counters around, this should enable some real easy damage right off the bat. But if you thought either of those were really cool, check out Lulu's Stern Guardian, allowing you to not only proliferate on command, but permanently stun a creature using stun counters. That card combos insanely well with Riku Resourceful Guardian, who would force any opponent to take damage just because you had counters on your creatures during your turn. But coming in as a favorite for the deck, Waka Devoted Guardian, a card that can make counters for every creature you have super easily. But we've also got some really fun reprints that are stellar choices for the deck. Luminous Broodmoth is an insanely strong card that lets everything on your side return to the field with a flying counter on it. If you really want to make the most of this card, moving flying counters off of creatures lets them come back repeatedly, as long as this card stays on the field. This card is amazing, trust me. We've also got Rampant Rejuvenator, a good way to get some mana fixing if you're struggling to get stuff on the field. And finally, Inexorable Tide, a great way to proliferate all the time. Now we've talked about cards, win conditions, stuff that's generally good to proliferate with, but what value are we getting out of this? I took out all the Final Fantasy cards because I think that's a bad way to showcase price, and I found that it's about $125 in reprints. Out of the most valuable cards in the deck, we've got Damning Verdict, a quick board wipe that doesn't affect your side of the board, Walking Ballista, a quick way to deal damage to an opponent or creature, Resourceful Defense, a card similar to Ozolith, while also allowing you to pay to move counters around, and finally, Bane of Progress, a way to get pesky cards off the board. Bottom line, even with those being the 4 most valuable cards in the deck, you're still doing pretty good on value. The list of cards I put together is not accounting for Final Fantasy. I'm gonna say pretty confidently, you're getting the bang for your buck. Now talking upgrades, this deck is gonna work out of the box. That said, if you were wanting the full potential of this deck, there are so many more cards you could add. Despite almost every single card in the deck having a way to interact with 1/1 counters, the deck is not limited. Any other type of counter will work. That's why I think Agent's Toolkit is one of the best choices here. Every creature you own can get flying, death touch, and shield counters. Put these onto Titus and the rest of your army, and you're going to be coasting. Elspeth Resplendent is an absolute goat for this deck. You can make so many different kinds of counters onto a creature, and then put a 1/1 counter on them when you do so as well. I especially like this card because it has First Strike as one of the choices. This is super strong. And if you need a 1-mana option, Gift of the Viper is an insanely cheap way to deal with flying or any other big threats, especially if you get the chance to move those counters around. But I won't keep talking about upgrades, that's gonna run the video for way too long. Keeping it short, I'm gonna give this deck an A tier. I think the commander is super fun, and it reminds me of the first Precon I ever bought, Hawkball, and it's got plenty of value with the cards inside. My only gripe is that it could lean into more counters, but that is not a problem. It still works well out of the box. Whether you're new to Magic and want to try a Final Fantasy deck, or you're a longtime veteran, I think this deck will have a lot of fun in store for you. In the description of this video, I've linked a Titus deck I put together before this deck list came out. If you'd like to try some of the upgrades I mentioned in a deck that might be a bit stronger, please check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more types of these videos,